Raven's Banquet, and our own Lisa Marie Segar got to go on set and interview the cast members, which includes Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So let's go ahead and roll it right now. Here they are on the set.
So, tell us about Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet.
A workplace comedy about people that make video games, specifically for this one, an MMORPG, which is an online game that people play all over the world simultaneously. It doesn't have one specific narrative story. You're just making the stories as you go. And so we picked that game because we felt like it opened up the most possibilities for us to tell continuous stories for as long as they'll let us.
I should take my shirt completely off and get super greased up.
What does that have to do with the video game?
Well, that'll sell the reality.
What reality? Of a man on a bird?
I play a character named Ian Grimm, who is the creative director. He likes to believe that he's the boss, but he actually is not the boss. In fact, I think there's a few bosses above Ian's head that he just doesn't really seem to see.
I have a BA in Women's Studies.
What exactly is Women's Studies?
It follows the experiences of women and the contributions they've made to...
Inquiry withdrawn.
My character's name is Rachel, and she's a tester in the game company, which basically means that she plays the game over and over and over again to find bugs and glitches that the dev team can fix. She has delusions of grandeur a bit, so she wants a seat at the table.
And I'm learning from her not only about gaming and how to make it work and how it functions, but also about the place of women, not only in this industry, but in the world. And it's a new thing for me because I'm from another generation, another century, actually, in reality. And my relationship with women has been kind of cavalier. I love them. That's one of the most important aspects of my life. But I love literature as well. So it's women, literature, and wine, and not necessarily in that order. So what I introduce is stories, and with a classical ring, and they introduce me to the world of gaming.
And so working on a show about gaming is kind of unique. How does that aspect differ from some of your other projects?
Well, I think it's specific to, I think doing a show about gaming is it provides specific storylines that you can't necessarily do in other shows, as well as just we're able to do an office comedy, which everyone can relate to, even if you don't like or play video games. But then you have these very specific storylines that come out of what it's like to create a game that brings together, billions of people and the problems that can come along with that.
It's a pretty fascinating world, I think. There are just challenges that the team and the show face that you just wouldn't ever think would be something you'd have to think about in a workplace, which is pretty hilarious.
For comedy reasons, like any place where you can have really big egos and very high stakes is like a great thing to go for. So you have these people like Ian, who has created this massively successful video game, but if he walked down the street, nobody would know who he is. He's not a Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, no matter how much he thinks he is. But what's funny about that to us is that the video game industry dwarfs the traditional entertainment industry. So the guys that made, for instance, Grand Theft Auto, that game has made more money than Star Wars. But I still don't even know what their names are. You wouldn't know them if they were walking down the street. So that's a great place for comedy, outsized egos with the not met with reality.
Yeah, and I suspect that Ian, my character, would walk around and say, "Why George Lucas? Why not Ian Grimm?"
It's not quite right.
These watermelons don't explode like real heads.
But also, I can get you real heads. Not human.
Joe, please don't get him heads.
That's commitment.
Are you guys gamers? And if so, what are your favorites?
I'd say the show's making me more of a gamer. Back in the day, I used to play a lot of Tony Hawk on Sega Dreamcast.
I love that.
I loved that Tony Hawk game.
Yeah.
But lately, I've been getting into more mobile games on my phone, like Two Dots and Tetris and that kind of stuff.
Tetris was like the first love. I mean, that and Zelda, I think. I played Zelda, and I think the music and everything, but the Tetris is like...
Yes.
That song is like in my head at least once a week, but I used to play it on Game Boy with my friends, and that was like the first addiction. I loved it so much.
Yeah, I'm a fan of all the combat games. I started with Tekken and Soul Calibur, and I am a fan of Injustice. But I also grew up playing Super Mario Brothers too on Nintendo, which is very fun.
And Pokemon, I loved Pokemon.
And Pokemon,
yeah.
yes. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh yeah.
Play Mortal Kombat? Anybody play Mortal Kombat?
I wasn't a huge Mortal Kombat
Me neither.
fan.
I had a Mortal Kombat arcade game once
Oh,
for a
fun.
summer, but then it broke.
Well,
Anyways, I'm not sad about it. Hurry before I cry.
Right now, I'm replaying Stardew Valley, and I've played games for eons, and probably my favorite franchise is Mass Effect.
Are you a gamer, Murray?
Pac-Man.
There we go.
What can I tell you, babe? Another century.
Legend of Zelda was my favorite as a kid, but I would say overall, my favorite game would have to be Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Skyrim, or Last of Us. Those two are pretty high up on the list.
I wasn't really a gamer before I got involved in the project, but it was just the most fun thing to research ever. I got a Nintendo Switch and I just like sat on the couch for days playing Zelda and told myself that it was work, and my husband was very annoyed with me, and I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like. I've gamed since I was a kid, even from Atari, Nintendo. But I would say one of my all-time favorites is Halo, because it was a way to play with my friends back in the day when it first came out, where you would drink beer, play Halo, and then eventually think I destroyed the game out of frustration. So it brings out the best and worst of people sometimes.
This is an Apple TV show. What was it like working with the crew at Apple TV Plus?
First of all, I've done a lot of work, okay? I've been doing this for about 55 years. This is the best run organization I've ever worked for. They make sure everything is right and first class. It's the best craft service I've ever had in my life. That's not a little thing, by the way.
No, yeah, it's great. It's been awesome. I mean, I was on the writing staff as well, and we just felt that they were really great collaborators. It wasn't a situation where it was like, okay, at 5 o'clock on a Friday, they told us to throw everything out. We have to start again. It was really, it was collaborative, and it was a back and forth, but not in a way that made the show better, not in a way that made us feel hamstrung in any way.
It was so exciting.
Yeah. It's fun to be part of something that's new, and I think there's a lot of excitement from Apple for the show, and this show is a nice blend of tech, as well as Always Sunny crew coming to make the show. So there's a nice blend of it feels like it checks off a couple boxes for us, and it's exciting to be part of something new. And Apple sort of has that culture that supports artists and lets us do our thing. And so I think we've been excited to just have a great creative process and actually show people something that's really what we wanted to make in the beginning.
We just had such a great time making it, and I feel like there was no point where we felt like we were being held back, which can sometimes happen. It really just felt like the show that we wanted to make was the show that we made.
What are you most hoping for the fans' experience?
I hope they laugh because it's really funny, and I hope they see representation in gaming because we really have a very diverse cast, and it's fun to get to be a part of it.
It's a show about gaming, but really it's a show about an office full of very strange people. And I feel like that's very relatable. I hope people just enjoy it because it's funny. And yeah, it's a diverse show. It offers a lot of different perspectives, and I hope people enjoy it.
I mean, they covered it. It's a fun, smart show with a great, talented cast, and we had a lot of fun shooting the show, so I hope that just carries through the show and the audience can grasp onto that.
I'm working with 3 different generations of actors. It spans 3. I'm the 4th generation. That's hard to believe, that I'm included in this world of theirs, and they're in mine. I don't know that there's another series on all of television that can tout that. And I think it's important. The idea that we're appealing to that many different segments of society.
I hope they like it. Well, first of all, I hope they watch it. That's number one. Let's hope that they watch it, and that hopefully the people who watch the show who are gamers or in the gaming industry feel as though we are celebrating the industry and honoring them and creating an authentic and true version of what their experience might be. And the people who don't game also enjoy it because they recognize themselves in that office environment.